Hi everybody and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have a unhaul for you, and I haven't done an unhaul in a long time since like before we moved in here. It feels so weird to be doing another one, but I just filmed that video about like BookTube made me do it. And reading books that I don't necessarily enjoy for the sake of pleasing others. And not that these books are like me trying to please others. Most of these actually aren't BookTube made me do it. A lot of these are Book Outlet made me do it, and like other various things that came into my life of why I bought these books. This has got to be the pile though where like it has the most like unread books that I am now getting rid of. Most of the time, if you've watched any of my other unhaul videos, majority of them were like, I gave all of these a fighting chance, and then I just got rid of like one or two that I haven't. Majority of these I have not read. Some of these I have. But I'm just going to get started. And yes. So the first book I'm going to get rid of is Summer Secrets by Jane Green. I'm actually going to take the sticky note out. I gave this a chance. I gave it 20 pages. There is a woman who was a severe alcoholic in this, and it wasn't where my brain wanted to be, and I just didn't appreciate it, and I unfortunately don't want to read it anymore. Another book that I also gave a fair chance to is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I did buy this because BookTube told me to. I got 137 pages in because I kept forcing myself through, and I realized, no, I'm not going to do it. So unfortunately, this one is also going away. All these books are going to be donated to my local library, by the way, so if you're curious as to what I do when I haul books, that's usually where they go. They go to the library. Another book that I started was The Incident on the Bridge by Laura McNeil. I was super confused in this. I got 88 pages in, and I just put it down, and I never picked it back up. And I have no interest in repicking it back up. I tried to read You Should Have Known by Jean Hanf. I can't even say this person's name, unfortunately. I got one chapter in and realized that it was too psychological and philosophical, and it's not what I wanted. This book, as I was putting all my books on my Goodreads shelves, this was the lowest rated. It had like a 2.3 star average rating, and that was Emma's Table by Philip Gallanes. I'm sorry if you have a 2-star review. I don't want to. I believe I got this book because it was one of those, like, it was supposed to be for my bridal shower, and then I had too many per table, so I ended up getting to keep some. There's actually quite a few of those in here, and I have no interest. If it's got less than 3 stars, I don't even want to attempt that. The Princess Bride by William Goldman. I read this whole thing, and I kept this because I felt guilty because I had just bought it, read it, and hated it right away. I'm going to stick to the movie, and I hate looking at it because it just makes me think about how I wanted this to be so much better than it was. This book is a sneak peek. This is going to be in a weekly wrap-up soon, but I read Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane and didn't live up to what I wanted it to be, so it's going to go. But you'll see more on that in my weekly wrap-up coming up this week. I read Body Surfing by Anita Shreve, and I really did not enjoy this, so much so that I realized that her writing style just is not for me. So I'm also going to be getting rid of her other 3 books that I own. I'm going to keep The Pilot's Wife because I actually really enjoyed that one, but I'm going to be getting rid of A Change in the Altitude, Rescue, and A Wedding in December. I debated keeping at least these 2, but then I was like, you didn't really like her writing style. Why are you going to torture yourself? So just going to get rid of all of them. Somebody who, I'm going to be really mad at myself for this, but I tried my best to try and book a month by this author, and eventually I just got really annoyed with a lot of what she was publishing. I didn't like all the stigma of like cheating and like being left for a younger woman, and it just bothered me. So 3 of them I've read. And that was Kristen Hanna, so I'm getting rid of these 3, Homefront, Distant Shores, and Summer Island, because I just did not care for them. But then I'm also getting rid of all the ones that I have not read with her too. So that is Comfort and Joy, Between Sisters, Home Again, The Things We Do for Love, and On Mystic Lake. I sat here and I read the synopsis of all of them, and almost all of them were like friends that are not friends anymore because of cheating, or like, sorry, my husband is getting trays down from the refrigerator by the sounds of it, so sorry about that noise. But I read them and I was just like, I'm not intrigued in the synopsis. I am keeping Firefly Lane because I liked that one, The Nightingale because I liked that one, and The Great Alone, even though I didn't like it because it was a book of the month. But yeah, had to get rid of the rest of her. I'm mad about this because this book cost me like 20 bucks, but Eleanor Elephant, I can never say her name, is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I did not jive with Eleanor. Me and Eleanor were on 2 different wavelengths, so she's got to go, unfortunately. Another booktube made me do it. Okay, another set of 4 that I've read. The Soldier Wife by Margaret Leroy. Nothing wrong with it. I read this back when I first started my booktube channel, and I've had no interest in wanting to reread it or anything. So it's just taking up some space on my shelves that I thought other books could take instead. Water for Elephants I've read, but I've read this twice, so I feel like I would never want to reread it again. I own the movie now, so I'd rather just watch the movie. The first 2 books in the Lone Star Heroes Love Story series, A Loyal Heart and An Uncommon Protector. I liked these 2. I liked the first one a lot, and then the second one I didn't really care for, and then I never got sent the third one, and I would never really go out and buy it on my own, so I'm going to keep the first 2. Decided not. Allie Hughes Has Sex Sometimes by Jules Moulin. I gave this book 20 pages and just wasn't up my alley. This is a Fiction Guild book that I just got sent, and I was going to keep it and read it, but then the more I thought about it, the more I wasn't interested, and that is Fox by Nadine Brands. I just feel like there's so many other books on my shelf that I really want to get to, and I know that I'm really, like, I feel bad because I know Fiction Guild thought I would like this, but the more I read about it, the more I think about it, the more I'm not really intrigued. The more I've learned about this author, too, the more I'm not interested in that is Kate Morton. I've had this book. I also gave this like 100 pages and never could get any further. And then I heard her newest book just came out and people were saying all of her books have slow starts. And I'm just not about that. I just don't have the time to be spending on slow books, and those are going to go, too. Another book, like a lot of these, like I said, I've started or given a chance to, and I just didn't like them. 7 Days of Us by Francesca Hornick. Got this off Thrift Books. I was really excited. I got like 20 pages in, and again, it was just dry and dull and not what I wanted. Another author that I had because of the fact of that like bridal shower, I bought them for the centerpieces, and then I ended up getting to keep them. Nancy Thayer books. I read Moonshell Beach and I really didn't like it, so it's been putting me off on these 2. So they've been sitting there and I've been like, oh, I should read them, but like because I like remember what a bad time I had with this one, it puts me off of reading these. So I know a lot of Nancy Thayer fans, and I know that they would appreciate those going to the library and being able to scoop them up for $1. Another one of those bridal shower books was The Wedding Cake by Lynn Hinton. I read the back and it sounds a little weird. I don't know why I even thought. I just bought it because it said wedding in it. Nah. All We Ever Wanted Was Everything by Janelle Brown. I still had interest in this, but then I just like picked it up when I was looking and I read like the first chapter, and again, not a huge fan of the writing style. It seems very, very wordy, and I'm not about that. I don't want it. The Little Beach Street Bakery, book 1 and 2. I read the Little Street Bakery and I really did not like it, but I kept holding out hopes because I really liked the covers, and I can't do that to myself. If you don't like the first book, you're not going to really like the second one, and it puts off you wanting to read the second one, so it's just taking up dust and space on my shelf. So those are going to go. I got this book from the bargain bin in Books A Million, and again, another one that I just picked up right now, and I read the first chapter. Very wordy, very kind of dull. not something I'm interested in. Almost done, guys. The Zookeeper's Wife by Diane Ackerman. I expected a lot more from this. This was very info dumpy. I got, again, like, I got like 90 pages in, and I could not get any further than that. It was very info dumpy. I'm just going to watch the movie. These two books go together. I read The Secret of Ella and Micah, and I had Lila and Ethan. I didn't realize that there was a second book in between these two. Didn't really like this one, and I was like, oh, like I'll buy the second one eventually so that way I can get to this one, but I never have. I read this over a year ago, and I never bought book 2, so I don't think it's ever going to happen. I just read this recently, and that was The Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. Book 2 made me do it, and I hated it, so it's going away. I kept one of her books on my shelf, but recently in the past, I got rid of 2 of her other books, and that is Emily Griffin, and this is Baby Proof. This matches the cover for Something Borrowed and Something Blue, so I'm kind of just, like, not interested. I kept the other one because I bought that one at Target for, like, full price, so I'm saving that one, but this one I got for, like, $1, so, bye. And the last 3 books that I'm getting rid of is the Maid of Secrets trilogy. I got these 2 books on Book Outlet, and I got this one on Thrift Books because I wanted the hardcovers. They don't match. Every time I come into this room and I see this, I want to vomit. I really don't like the looks of this one, which is why I haven't even picked it up to read it, because it's like one of those, like, when you can't get past the cover moments. And I just, again, while I was sitting here trying to decide what to get rid of, I read the first chapter of this, and I'm just not about it. This is why you don't buy books and trilogies in bulk, because this happens, and it's sad. So yeah, those are all the books I'm getting rid of. So like I said, most of them I felt like I was giving chances to, and they weren't up my alley, and I just need to be honest with myself. I feel like when I was putting all my books on my shelf on Goodreads, I was realizing that there's so many books that, like, I want to read for real that are getting pushed off for these books that I am finding to be subpar. And I need to be so much more careful about the books that I read. So I'm hoping that this will be a huge wake-up call, and that I will be seriously buying books that I'm really interested in. When I shelved my books, there was 150 unread books on my bookcases. And I understand some of them are like backlisted books. So like I've got like 3 Lisa Scotland books that I haven't read. I've got 4 Debbie McComber books, but like those are books that I plan on reading like over my lifetime, or like my like 7 Agatha Christie books that I haven't read, but those are books that I plan on reading over my lifetime. 5 Diane Chamberlain books, because I refuse to make sure, like, I want them all, but I want to make sure that I space them out because I don't want to have nothing by her to read. So there's like some authors like that where I have bought like in bulk on purpose, which obviously add to the numbers, but then there's other books that are adding to numbers like these that, like, clearly you could tell I knew nothing about them or had 0 interest, and they're just taking up space. And I need to be way more careful with what I'm buying and what I'm keeping, because eventually there's not going to be enough room on my shelves. So I need to be really, really, really careful. And I think that I'm going to use this as my wake-up call for being really, really careful in the future. Sorry, there was a fly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below. And I will see you guys really soon. Bye, everybody.